So we want to do nesting with if statements. So can anyone remember what nesting is? Yes. Okay, so you have if statements. Okay, within an if statements you have if statement. If the if statement starts and ends, before it ends another if statement is inside. So to create this program we have two conditions whereby we're going to ask the user to enter his age. Okay, he enters his age and we find out how old he is. For driving he needs to be 17 or over. Okay, greater than 16. Okay, and then we're also going to ask him whether he passed his driving test or not. If both conditions are met, then he's allowed to drive, and if it's not met, then he's not allowed to drive. So what should I do? The first thing we should do what? Declare variable. So the first thing you should do is declare variable. How do you declare variable again? Dim. The first word is dim, and the name of the variable. We do age as integer. Why integer? We're going to store number. Okay, and then the next one we want to ask a question, but this time we want a response from the user as a string. Yes, so we're going to create another variable called dim. Name, let's call it pass as string. Okay, why? Because we want the user to type in something, yes or no. Okay, so we want the user to type in some sort of text in there. So then we display a message to the user. How do you display a message to the user? Console.writeLine, or you can write console.write. I'm going to write console.write in this case. Okay, console.write, quotation mark, enter age. Okay, now user sees this message, enter age, user knows what to do. We want the user to type something in. The user will type something in. Okay, and we want the computer to prompt the user to type something in. So to prompt the user to type something in, console.readLine. Okay, so now this will prompt the user to type something in. This command prompts the user to type something in and input something. Now we want to store that input somewhere. Okay, where would we want to store the age? Into the variable age. Okay, age equals console.readLine. Now whatever the user types in, whatever the value the user types in, it will go inside this variable called age. Okay, so the next thing we want to do, display another message to the user, console.write, okay, have you passed your test? Okay, so now we're asking the user, have you passed your test? And user, you see this message, the user will type in something. We want to make the user, prompt the user to type some input. Okay, so to do that, what do we do? Okay, so we want to do console.readLine. Okay, and the user will be prompted to type something in. We need to store the user input somewhere. Where do you want to store it? Pass. Okay, because it's a string into the variable pass. So it's called pass equals console.readLine. The user sees this message, have you passed your test? Okay, then the user types in. Whatever the user types in, the answer, the data, okay, is stored inside this variable called pass. Okay, now we want to make some checks. Okay, if, okay, what do you want to check first? Let's check age first. If age, okay, is greater than 16, then, okay, you want to do something. If the user says, if the user is greater than 16, what do you want to do? You want to make the next check. First check, if it's passed, then the next check. This is where the nesting comes in. Then you make another check. If the age is greater than 16, then if pass equals yes. Okay, if pass equals yes. Okay, so when you say pass equals yes, because yes, okay, is string, it needs a quotation mark. Okay, if past equals yes, then, okay, if past equals yes, then you can display message say console dot write line, okay, you may drive. Okay, you may drive. Else, okay, else, if this condition is not passed, then else, okay, else, what do you want to say? Okay, console dot write line, you are not, okay, allowed to drive. Okay, you are not allowed to drive. The same condition will apply. Suppose if this condition is not, if this condition is met, it will execute this. What happens if this condition is not met? Then what do you want to do? Okay, so this, can you see this if statement is aligned with this end if. So this if statement is aligned with this end if. So this end of this if statement is here and end of this if statement is here. So we're going to say else here also, if the first condition is not met, okay, we want to say else same sentence, which means, okay, which means if the age is greater than 16, then carry on with the next, executing the next line of code. If the age is not greater than 16, then execute the statement code after the else, which is this. Because it's not greater than 16, he can't be driving anyway. So you are not allowed to drive. But if the user is greater than, age is greater than 16, he will execute this. You will check the next condition and check, have you passed your test? Okay, if you pass your test, then of course both condition is met, you are allowed to drive. Okay, if not, then of course you are not allowed to drive. Okay, so now, okay, I'm going to run this program. Okay, enter age. Right, let's test the first one out. Let's say if I'm 7. Okay, it's checking, have you passed your test? If I say, let's say no, okay, you are not allowed to drive. Okay, let's run it again. Okay, say my age is, again, I do 7, and if I say yes, you are not allowed to drive. Even, okay, I wrote S for my pass. Okay, if I run it again, say if I say I'm 19, have you passed? I say no, you are not allowed to drive. If I run it again, okay, and this time I say I'm 19 and I say yes, you may drive. Okay, so the program is working. Is understood? Okay.